Welcome those who are still logging in. We will officially get started in 3 or 4 minutes. We see numbers rising. Thank you for being with us. In just a few moments, we will officially get started with Dr. Chatrin as our moderator. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for logging in. We will officially get started, and I will turn over to Dr. Craig Chatrand.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Bengal family and guest session. I'm going
Dr.
to be
Chatrand,
moderating.
I think you might be muted. I cannot hear you.
I can hear him.
I thought I unmuted.
Yeah, sorry, Brooke, I can hear him, so.
Oh, sorry, that's my fault.
All right, let's try this again.
We just need a deep, thorough scrubbing of the kitchen.
Welcome, everybody. We're so happy to be here. Thank you.
And the 3 bathrooms is
family and guest session. We could have everyone mute your microphone.
They can't hear me. I'm muted.
So
you're just gonna listen.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you to leave your cameras on so we can see your smiling faces. But if you could mute your microphone, that's always very helpful. We want everyone to know that this session is being closed captioned. And so at the bottom of your Zoom frame, there should be an option to watch closed captioning. And this is also being broadcast live on YouTube. So hello to everybody who is watching on YouTube as well. We have a couple great panelists with us today. And so I'm going to ask each of our panelists to introduce themselves and give a brief overview of their office. And then we will have time for some question and answers afterwards. So I'm going to ask Brooke to introduce herself again and talk a little bit about new student orientation. And then each of our panelists will introduce the next panelist. Go Go ahead, Brooke.
Good afternoon again. Nice to see your faces again after our welcome session. On behalf of the Office of Orientation, thank you for being with us. Thank you for flexing with us into a virtual format. We did feel this was the safest way for us to have a large group gathering, be able to share content with you that we feel is critical for your student success and for your awareness as a college parent or family member. Hence the reason for this session of what every college parent and family member needs to know. I do want to say quickly, I saw the note in the box about a student small group, and we are going to be helping anyone who is struggling to log in. They can call our office at the number on our website. Thank you so much.
Next is Kelly Moore and Tiffany Hatfield from the Bengal Family Network.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kelly Moore. I am the Director of Communications for the Division of Student Affairs. Tiffany, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tiffany Hatfield. I work for Student Affairs Communications and Projects Assistance.
So Tiffany and I have been working on a project that is right in the middle of development, the Bengal Family Network. So Tiffany's going to take you on a short tour of our online resources, but I wanted to let you know that we have a development team that will begin meeting next month, and they have lots of great ideas for ways that we can help parents and families stay connected to students and connect to the institution and to one another. So we're thinking great things about conferences and workshops and resources and just fun ways to be able to engage with one another about how to support students. So having said that, I'm going to turn this over to Tiffany and let her show you around the website.
So our website is pretty easy to find. It's just isu.edu/parents, and it pulls you up to this nice homepage, and you can find an abundance of things, from joining our parent family network, which you will get monthly newsletters from our VP of Student Affairs, articles, important dates to remember. Our family weekend will live here with a dream of 2021, because we postponed family weekend this year to keep everyone safe. There's also frequent questions, tips for parents, and an abundance of resources at your fingertips in this website. And to join, all you have to do is go to the second link in the website, which is just a join, Bengal Parent and Family Network. We just need your email, your name, and your phone number. We may call you, but we mostly like to stick to emails. It's easy to sign up and whatnot. One thing on our page is tips for parents, and this page will be updated frequently as we are moving through this whole new COVID situation on campus. So we just have some quick tips, but it will be updated almost weekly so you can see what our university is doing and different resources that you will have. And then, like I said, Family Weekend did get postponed, but we are looking forward to fall 2021, which we will have our traditional ISU SAB bingo, family tailgates, get to enjoy our massive climbing wall, and an abundance of other things that we will have going on. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. And I believe Rick Pongratz with the Counseling and Testing Center is up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Pongratz. I lead the Counseling and Testing Center. I've been at ISU for about 15 years and the director of the center for about 5. I want to talk to you a little bit about student mental health and then also talk to you about the information and the services that we provide to help students. So first of all, I want to say it's normal to struggle. All humans struggle, and in fact, it's going through those struggles and overcoming them that help us to build resilience and help us get stronger and help us accomplish great things. And so you can expect that everyone will have a degree of stress and anxiety as they're tackling these new challenges of school. The data that we have on college students is that it's pretty common that that students struggle when they're in school. ISU students are no different than that. They have their struggles as well. And this year, we're also thinking about the extra stress of all the COVID stuff and wanting to make sure that we're here and able to support students who are dealing with any sort of anxiety that they might have or struggles with motivation if their classes are in a different format than they might like. We're here to kind of help them focus and get structure and things like that. All of our services are free, meaning that they don't have to pay a per session fee to get counseling services. So the services are also all confidential, so they can come and talk to us and know that we're not going to share what they tell us with other people, unless of course it's a life-threatening emergency or something like that. There's a lot of different ways that we help students. So we have individual counseling sessions. We have a robust telehealth system to provide secure, confidential services to students, mental health services to students. We also have group counseling where in the past it would be the students would come together in a room. We don't do that now because the room is small and not ventilated. But we have explored ways and we've established a way to do online group counseling for folks. It helps people not feel isolated, get to connect with others and get support from them. And I like to talk about our counseling center, not only as a counseling center that provides help and support to students, but also as a retention center. Because the data that's out there show that students who access their on-campus counseling centers progress at their institutions at higher rates than students who don't. So we know that if students engage and ask for help and connect with us, that we can not only help them be happier and healthier, we can help them succeed at the university better. And so please, please make sure that you're having these conversations with your students or with your children, our students, and encouraging them to reach out for help if they're having any struggles at all, and reach out early, and so that we can get some support for them early before they fall behind in classes or anything like that. All they have to do to get an appointment is give us a call. That number is 208-282-2130. And we set them up with appointment. Also in the chat box, I'll post the link to our website where you can get a lot more information about our services and what we do, and all the phone numbers are listed there, so that regardless of whether their primary campus is Pocatello, Idaho Falls, Meridian, they can get access to calling someone and setting up services. So I think that'll be it for right now, and I'll turn things over to Karina from Disability Services, but I'll be on the line to answer questions at the discussion session.
Thank you, Rick. Well, welcome everybody. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm excited that you're all here. And I'm even more excited to be meeting all of our new students that are coming to campus. So I can't wait to get started. So my office is responsible for accommodation services for students with disabilities. We also provide accommodation services for visitors. So parents out there, if there are any accessibility issues that you may come across, please contact my office and we'll gladly help you out and help you navigate, get you taken care of. Our phone number is 208-282-3599, and I'll post our website in the chat as soon as I'm finished as well. Some accommodation services that we provide, it could be, you know, if a student needs an accessible chair with lumbar support or specialized chair of some sort, or it could be extra time for testing, reduced distraction testing environment. There's just a ton of accommodations that we can provide. We also provide accommodation services for all of our campuses, Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Twin Falls, and Meridian. And we can address accommodation needs even using distance methods or when students are taking online classes. Again, I'm totally excited that you're all here. Thank you for choosing Idaho State University, and go Bengals. And then next up is Supi Lyon, and she works at our University Health Center.
Hi, thanks for the introduction, Karina. My name is Supi Lyon, and I'm a physician assistant. I work at the Idaho State University Health Center, and I've worked there since 2003, which makes 17 years. And it's the best clinic I think, in all of Pocatello. Not that I'm biased, but I'm just really delighted to be able to connect with all of you students that are coming in and all of your concerned and supportive parents. And I'd just like to take a few minutes of your time to acquaint you with our health center. First of all, we're a general medicine clinic, and it's kind of a combination of urgent care and family medicine tailored to college students and young professionals. We have 2 physicians on staff as well as several physician assistants. We have an amazing team of nurses and medical assistants. We have a radiographics technician, and we also have a dietitian. So it's a really diverse team that provides a lot of different kinds of services related to health. It's way more than just Band-Aids and aspirin. Just some examples of the things that we take care of. We do a lot of acute care, as you can imagine. We take care of illnesses like upper respiratory infections, which is on everybody's mind. Mono, strep, pneumonia, flu, including COVID, acute gastrointestinal infections, urinary tract infections, skin infections, rashes, wounds. We do a lot of orthopedic injuries. We work with the athletes, and we have a sports med doc as well that is on our staff. And we take care of things like strains and sprains and fractures. We take care of headaches, male and female specific concerns. We also do things like pap smears, birth control, STD screening, sports physicals, program physicals. We do a lot of travel medicine because some of our, well, I don't know how much we'll be doing of that this year, but generally we provide a lot of travel medicine when people are doing rotations overseas or doing study abroad. We also do immunizations, obviously. We diagnose and manage a lot of long-term concerns like diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid, asthma, acne, migraines. We do a lot of mental health at our clinic. We're really well equipped there to take care of students that are struggling with anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit, excuse me, those types of things. And we also do a lot of minor office procedures. So if you have a cut, we can sew you up. If you have a wart, we can freeze it. If you need something like shaved off or biopsied, we can definitely do that. Remove ingrown toenail, or if you got something in your eye, come see us for that too. Ha ha ha. We have a little lab in our clinic, which is equipped with a blood draw. So we do a lot of blood testing, like if you're worried that you have anemia, or you're worried about your thyroid, or you'd like to have your cholesterol checked, we can totally do that at our clinic. We run all sorts of little tests like urinary samples. We can do strep swabs and monospots, and we have a microscope, which I just love. That helps us do our diagnosis as well. We have X-ray. I think I mentioned we have an X-ray tech. So we actually have X-ray services in our clinic on campus as well. And if you're needing IV fluids, or you have certain medications that need to be administered intravenously, we can do that as well. And I'm pretty sure that many of you are wondering about COVID. It's on everybody's mind. It's certainly on our mind. We're doing our absolute best to keep sick people with respiratory infections away from well people with other concerns. So we have divided our clinic into 2 stories of upstairs in a separate entrance come people with upper respiratory infection concerns, and then downstairs other people that have been screened for that sort of thing before they're allowed into the clinic. And so we're trying to keep everybody really safe while you come into our clinic. We're also offering telehealth. So if you're worried, like if you're immunocompromised, or you just don't want to get exposed, if we can take care of you through a Zoom visit or on the phone, we absolutely are prepared to do that as well, including in-clinic visits if they want the more sort of exam, which is sometimes what we need to do. We collaborate closely with the Southeast Idaho Public Health, and we are following CDC guidelines as far as like how to move forward and manage through this COVID pandemic situation. So I feel really confident that we can offer you the care that you're going to need on campus and answer questions that you may have regarding general health as well as COVID. There are 2 test sites in Pocatello that are offering COVID testing. One is through Express Labs, and that's actually on campus near Fulton Arena. And the other one is through our Pocatello Hospital, which is Portneuf Medical Center. We're also in line. We've purchased a rapid test for COVID. We haven't received it yet, but we're definitely trying to get one of those as soon as possible. So we work really closely with other clinics and entities on campus. So we kind of try and help your, you coordinate your care. If you come into our clinic, but we think maybe you need counseling, we'll get you set up with the counseling center or ISU psychology clinic. We also work with physical therapy clinic on campus, audiology on campus, dental hygiene on campus. There's just a lot of resources for students to stay healthy to get through their academic careers. And so we also work with ADA or the disability services on campus, and we will definitely refer. And so we're well connected with the community specialists. If you need something for dermatology or gastroenterology, we can definitely connect you with where you need to go for that. Sorry, I'm taking up so much time. I really want to say that that it's kind of like counseling center. Our clinic is free for students. It's the services that require like stitches or x-ray or labs will bill to insurance, or there's a cash price if you don't have insurance. So you don't need insurance to come see us at our clinic. And if you come in and it's just an office visit, it's actually covered. So there's no barrier for you walking in the door or making a phone call. If you need some help with your health, your office visit is free. There's no copay. So we do bill insurances if there are other things that need to be taken care of. We're located right between the Student Union and the Rendezvous, so it's really easy to find us. We're on 8th Street, or otherwise known as Cesar Chavez Avenue, and we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Thank you, that's all I've got. And next up is Stacy Fullen from the Enrollment Management.
Thanks, Supi. My name is Dr. Stacy Phelan, and I just wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. I oversee the registrar's office, the admissions office, financial aid and scholarships, as well as the orientation office. I just wanted to give you a couple of updates, in particular about admissions and financial aid. For admissions, we need to make sure that your students have submitted all of their final documents. So final high school transcripts, if they were a transfer student, any transfer credits, that would include early college transfer credits that need to get posted. We want to make sure that we have those in time. They're registered for school, no issue right now, but we want to make sure that those things are in place, that there's no barriers to graduation later on down the line. If you need help with those pieces, you're welcome to call our office. We can get you in touch with an admissions advisor that can help you with those documents. In terms of financial aid, just a couple of updates there. The disbursement date for financial aid was August 12th this year. So your students should be able to log into Bengal Web and their student finances tab, and they should be able to view any aid that was offered to them if they have accepted it yet. If you don't see that, you are welcome to contact our financial aid office. I will post the phone number and the email in just a few moments. For new first-time freshmen, if they took a student loan, there is a 30-day delay in disbursement for this. We do have a student payment plan that they can sign up for at no cost that will help them get those things paid for in the meantime. So they can also talk to financial aid about that. We're happy to help them get that set up. I would also encourage your students to make sure that they are logging into Bengal Web and checking their student finances tab. There will be some red flags or green flags related to their financial aid documents. If they have all green flags, they're set and ready to go and they don't need to do anything. If they have some red flags, they might need to turn in some documents. They might need to answer some questions related to federal financial aid. So if they have any questions or concerns, or if it's confusing, again, they're welcome to contact financial aid through phone or email. If you have had a change in your family's financial status, I know a lot of people have been affected by COVID, layoffs, furloughs, things of that nature that are happening to them. If you've had that happen to your family, please contact the financial aid office. We might be able to reassess your situation and you might become eligible for some more aid. So if you find yourself in that situation, again, please reach out. And the last thing I'd like to cover is, I know you just finished FAFSA and all of those things for this particular period, but October 1st, the new FAFSA session opens up. So they can get ahead of things for next year by getting those documents submitted early. And I'd be happy to answer any questions when we're all done, but I wanted to turn it over to my colleague now, Dr. Lance Erickson.
Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon, everyone. I think the best was saved for last, right? Let's talk about that. So I'm sure that many of you are concerned about the end of this process of education, which is, will my son or daughter be able to get a great career or job at the end of this process? And that's where the Career Center comes in. So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the services and resources we offer to help you and your students. So we can help students figure out a college major if they're unsure about what they want to major in or what career path they want to choose. We're here to help. Next slide, please. So most of you probably know that the majority of college students change their major at least once during their 4 or 5 years that they're here. So it's a very common thing, but the Career Center again has many tools that we can help your son or daughter be able to choose the right program or major for them. Next, please. Some of these resources are things like career counseling that's free for students. We can sit down one-on-one with your student and be able to talk with them, work with them in a one-on-one setting to help them choose what they would like to do and make sure it's a good fit and a good match for them. We have online career guidance programs that are free, Focus 2, ONET, My Plan, and we offer a variety of free career assessments to help students figure out what they want to do as well. One of these programs that I just mentioned is Focus 2, and it can be used on a PC, it can be used on an iPad, but even a phone, which most students use. And there are a variety of things on Focus that can be so helpful for students. There are assessments on there, and when they take the assessment, it will give them careers and occupations that are a good match based on the way they answered the questions. And not only that, it also then shows ISU majors and programs that could help get them to that career path. So I hope that your son or daughter will be able to get on Handshake or Focus, excuse me, and take some of these assessments and figure out what path would be best for them. We also offer a career and life planning class. That's a 1-credit class that we teach in the Career Center. It's under Counseling 1150. And it's really a class to help students figure out a major and career decisions. So if any of your students are struggling with those decisions, having them take this career and life planning class can be a very good thing. We just meet 1 day a week for 50 minutes, and we focus primarily on helping them choose what a suitable path for them. We also have the Career Path Internship Program, or CPI for short. Many of you have probably heard about the CPI program. This is a very unique program to ISU. There's no other college or university that has anything like this in the United States. There's $2.3 million given to this program, and last year over 900 students completed a career path internship just this last year. These are both on and off campus positions, and this is a great way for students to earn money, but also to get experience and be able to build their resume. And finally, many of you may be concerned about part-time jobs or internships, as I mentioned. We have a software program for the Career Center called Handshake. This is a free resource for students. They have to go in and create a profile, but it's free. And then they're able to search for on-campus, off-campus, full-time, part-time, internships, work-study, all different kinds of jobs that would be available while they're a student and beyond. So again, the Career Center is here to help. We want to help your college students be able to find a great career that would be a good match and a good fit for them, and be the place that they can come if they have questions, concerns about what am I doing, where am I going, those kinds of things. So I think that's it for me. I'll turn it back to Craig.
Great. Thank you so much, panelists. Now we'll be able to take some questions from everyone. I've put some instructions on how to ask a question anonymously if you'd like. You just go down to the chat box and select my name, which is Craig Chatrand, and it will send me a message privately, and then I will ask it to the panelists. So we had some questions a little bit earlier. So Supi, how would a parent find out if your clinic is in network for their insurance?
Two ways, probably: calling their insurance and figuring that out, or calling our clinic and speaking with Tracy Doobie, who is our insurance specialist there. And she's very adroit at checking on all sorts of networks and plans and provide preferred providers and stuff. So she's a really good resource, and you can just call our clinic. So either call your insurance or call our clinic, and we can help guide you through that. If there are services that a student would need that our clinic that's not in network, we will find somebody in town that offers that care. So you can use us as a resource for that as well.
Great, thank you very much. And Lance, how would a student go about downloading the Focus app that you were describing?
So the best way to do this, thank you, Craig, is to go to our website, which is www.isu.edu/career. And you'll see the Focus icon right there. And you'll be able to then get on Focus and do all the things that are within Focus. It's a great program, great career guidance program that I highly, highly recommend.
Looks like we're still having some challenges with some of the student sessions, and I know Dr. Phelan said that there's some staff working on that right now, and we'll give you any updates as they come in. Next question I'm going to ask Rick to answer. Do you notify parents, or under what circumstances do you notify parents if my student is having a mental health emergency?
Yeah, so if there's a mental health emergency, so let me first of all make a distinction between mental health treatment and then what kind of emergencies we might be talking about. So students have a right to the confidentiality. So under normal circumstances, we would not notify anyone that a student has sought mental health support, because they have that right under HIPAA to have that, and FERPA actually is we're a FERPA clinic. In cases of mental health emergencies, if a student's life is at risk, what we do is we try to do, we go through all the steps that are necessary to make sure that that student is safe and gets to intensive support, or whatever level of intensive support is needed. And so sometimes that will involve contacting a hospital and working with the hospital. We try to work with the student to involve parents, family, trusted friends, people who can be their ally as they're navigating that crisis. And then we'll also work with student affairs in Craig's office, the Dean of Students office, to make sure that the university is helping respond to that emergency, so that they don't, so that their faculty are not told the specifics of what happened, but told to give the students some accommodations to be able to catch up on work later. The Dean of Students office is also really helpful in contacting parents if that's necessary at the time. And so I see the question pop up there about authorizations. Yes, a student can talk to their counselor about signing a release to allow for a greater degree of communication between their counselor and the parents of the student. We do ask that parents consider that carefully. If a student feels that they're coerced into signing a release to talk to the counselor, the students tend not to tell the counselors what's really going on. So, it is, we don't encourage blanket releases or things like that, because the students tend to clam up a little bit, and that limits our ability to be of help to them. But do please keep an open line of communication with your son or daughter, so that they are talking with you about what's going on, and you're talking with them and encouraging them to get support. And we work together to try to make sure that we're doing all that we can to support them.
You're weird.
Thank you, Rick. The next question I'm going to ask Stacy to answer. If a family signed up for a payment plan through financial aid, is there an option for helping a student buy books prior to the distribution of the student loans?
Yes, there is. Please contact the financial aid office at the number or email that I provided you above, and they'd be happy to assist you with that.
Thank you, Stacy. And Stacy, I think the next question is probably best for you also. We have a 529 to pull money from for school fees. How can we get a final total cost of tuition, room, board, etc.?
So on your students' Bengal web, on their student finances tab, you should be able to view the complete charges for that. I'm not certain if there's a download option or not, but I can get back to you on that. That would be the best way to get that information.
Lance, I'm going to ask the next question for you. About how many jobs are there on campus, and what's the likelihood that my student can work on campus?
Great question. A lot of students want to work on campus, which makes sense because it's convenient, and generally on-campus jobs are a little more flexible than off-campus jobs. However, there are only so many jobs. There are hundreds and hundreds of on-campus jobs, no question about it. Many of them can be found through Handshake that I mentioned earlier. But what is best is if a student is really interested in an on-campus job, to try to secure one in that first week of school, because once that first week is over, a lot of jobs will be taken up by that point. There will be some still posted throughout the year, no question about that. But the earlier the better to be able to find an on-campus job. But again, there are all types of varieties, different number of hours, different places to work. But again, I would encourage your son or daughter to be able to get on Handshake and look at those job openings.
Lance, is there a wait list to get a campus job if a student doesn't get one right away?
There is not a wait list, unfortunately. It's really up to the individual student to be able to find the job that they're interested in. But as I mentioned before, Handshake is where most of them will be posted, not all of them, but most. And it will be on a first come, first served basis, basically. But if a student needs help, we would love to help them in the Career Center, be able to find something, work on a resume, whatever might help them apply for a job.
And is Handshake where a student would find a work-study job?
That's the same place, yes. Most work-study positions would be found on Handshake as well.
And another question for you, Lance. Are there jobs on our campuses in Idaho Falls and in Meridian as well?
There are. Of course, those campuses are a little smaller than the Pocatello campus, but there are jobs available at those campuses as well. There will be different varieties of jobs again at those campuses. So I would encourage you to inquire pretty quickly about what jobs would be available at those campuses if that's where you're attending, and see what might be the options for you there.
Great. Thank you, Lance. Stacy, would you mind trying to do a screen demo of printing the tuition?
I just tried to share my screen and it looks like I don't have permission to share, but I did just do a trial run on my own screen really quick. And yes, a printout is very easily available. You would basically go to the Student Finances tab and you would look at the My Account for the student. You would click on the semester that you're interested in, and then you would click on the specific term, and then you have an option to print from there.
Stacy, would you like to try now? Would it be helpful?
Let's try. Let me get back to the right spot. Yes, I can share. Okay. All right. So this where I'm at right now is called Bengal Web, and you can see there are a number of tabs off to the side. I'm referencing specifically the Student Finances tab. You have a lot of information about financial aid. If you scroll down, you'll see something called My Account. and you will be able to select the term that you're interested in. So I'm going to click on spring 2019, and this is going to bring up some information about what the charges were and what's been paid. So you'll be able to see charges and payments and what was owed. So if I click on spring 2019, I would be able to then go up here and find the print button and then print this. And so it'll pull up just like this.
Thank you, Stacy. And is there a equivalent Bengal website for parents like their students have, where a parent could log on and look at their students' information?
That information is protected by FERPA. So a student would need to talk to their parents about how they want to share that information with them.
And our next question I'm going to ask you also, Stacy. Is it better to pay for a full year at once or pay per term?
We only bill one term at a time. So it would be best to pay as you have charges come up on your account. Typically what happens is we open registration and then we would roll the billing cycle. So you would be able again to see when charges post by looking at your Bengal Web account. If you happen to have an overpayment, they would issue a refund check after a period of time.
Looks like it's all the questions for a second, and I'm going to give it just a minute to see if more come in. While we wait a few minutes, is there anything that the panelists were hoping to be able to share with parents and families today that you haven't been asked about yet? Looks like our panelists have been able to share the most important pieces of what they wanted to share today. But Lance, I have another question for you. How do the students get on Handshake to look for a job? Is it a website? Is it an app? How would a student find Handshake?
Lance, you're muted.
There we go. I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry about that. So the Handshake, Handshake you can find on our website as well. But that is a great tool for our students, not only for job searching, but we post all of our information on there, like career fairs, information sessions, different things like that. Any career related events are going to be found on Handshake, so students can participate in those. But there is an app for Handshake, but get on the website and students can also create their profile from our website as well. That answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Pause again and see if any additional questions come in. We appreciate everybody's attendance today. This is, I think, the first time that we've used this type of technology for this type of session. We know it feels a little bit different. And if you were at the welcome earlier, I think you heard President Satterley say, we're gonna hear a lot in the next couple days that this is different, and the semester is gonna feel a little bit different. But we've done everything we can to provide a great experience and a safe experience for students. So we don't have any additional questions, but Brooke, would you do you have any updates on the student sessions that seemed to have some challenges earlier?
Sure. So here is the plan of action for those. So in a moment, we have a team working on it, several people working on any session that had a technical error for Zoom for the student virtual small groups. This afternoon, students should pay attention to their ISU email. We're going to email anyone who was impacted by that, and we will rectify that. We are currently working on it for any group that had an issue. And of course, I offer apologies for that, but it's being actively worked on. I would encourage students to check their ISU email for any groups currently having issues. And when this session is over, I will personally be joining that effort to rectify any of those groups. Thank you, Craig, for that chance to talk about that again.
Yes, thank you for that update. And I'm
Sorry
going
about that.
to take one of the things that Brooke said is have your students check their ISU email. That is true on this topic and every other topic. That is the way that we do most of our communication with students. And so having them check their ISU email is critical. We have a few more questions that have come in. So Lance, I'll ask you, if a student has an appointment next week for a job, should they still check out Handshake to see if there's other job possibilities?
Yeah, great question. I would highly encourage anyone that's looking for an on-campus or an off-campus type of job to look now. As I mentioned, as a lot of students start looking for jobs and those are taken, the number of jobs will be fewer. So I would encourage to get on Handshake now and look for jobs. And my advice to students is if you see something that you like, don't wait and go, well, I'll apply for that next week because it'll probably be gone. So I would encourage you, if you see a job that you like now, that you apply for it as quickly as possible.
Thank you. So another question, if we chose the delayed loan payment plan, will we still have the option to pay in portions or will we have to pay the full price of the school year at one time? Stacy, can you answer that question?
Yes, I'm going to answer that with a very general response. I think everybody's situation is unique, so I don't want to give a blanket answer. I would encourage you to contact, again, financial aid. They'll be able to walk you through what your specific situation looks like and what options you have.
And Stacy, I'd also ask you to answer, why are our students paying $100 for new student orientation when it's online?
Absolutely. I understand that $100 is a lot and people are frustrated that it's an online situation, but I would just ask that you understand that we're doing our very best to respond to COVID and to keep your kids safe and to provide the information that they need to be successful in school. With that being said, there are other things that we are still providing to support orientation. So students, when they come to campus and pick up their Bengal card, they will receive some swag items that we would normally provide for orientation. And in addition, there is a cost to the online platforms where we provided pre-orientation and these orientation modules. So there still are costs to provide orientation, even though it is fully online.
Another question that came in, is there anyone that monitors students like a counselor to see if they are struggling academically, or is that up to the student to self-monitor and ask for help? Rick, I'll ask you to start with that question and then I might fill in after you.
Yes, yeah, so students have a number of different touch points with the university's staff that can be of help to them. And so they're really encouraged, and I would ask for your help in encouraging them to speak early and often with an academic advisor who can help connect them to the right path to succeed and the quickest and most affordable way to reach their degree. Students will also have access, in their syllabi will discuss a lot of different options that they have. So a lot of faculty members will put information related to the counseling center in their syllabus so that students know that we're here as an option. Students will also be provided with information about the tutoring center and the student success center so that they can see that there are options there. Through a lot of the first year courses. So, and I'll defer to Kelly to talk a little bit more about what's in them. But those first year courses, the ROAR courses, talk about how to succeed in college, how to pay attention to different aspects of being a college student. And some of those are also health and wellness. And so my office does presentations in those classes and a lot of other advertising to try to get in touch with students and make sure that they know they can reach out to us for support. The counseling center doesn't cold call students to say, hey, you need counseling, because most people don't like that. If you think of a doctor would call you up blind and ask you, say they heard you have high cholesterol and you should come into them, you probably wouldn't want to go see that doctor. But what we really do is network with all the other people on campus who have access to those students and make sure those students are continually directed to the counseling center and can get support here.
And I'll ask Kelly to talk a little bit about the ROAR class, if she would, for first year students.
Sure. So ROAR 1199 is a new class. It is a semester long. It is 3 credits, and it is all about helping your student take a proactive approach to their education. So we really want them to understand we're going to provide a lot of support. We have great services, and we're going to teach them how to utilize those services. But we also want to engage them in having the best possible educational experience they can have. So that class will address everything. Some of the things Rick already mentioned, like wellness, financial literacy, how to talk with the professor if they're struggling in class, how to approach the issue if they're feeling really uncertain in their major or about what they want to do for their career. So it's a holistic approach to being successful in higher ed. And it's a critical class for students to take, because the whole idea is to help them focus on their goal and gather the resources to get to that goal as expeditiously, but also in as enjoyable a fashion as possible.
And the last thing that I would say is the Dean of Students office is also a great place to refer a student who's struggling. And while there's nobody that monitors every student, if our faculty member sees that a student has been absent more than usual, seems to be struggling academically, if a student shares something with a faculty member or staff member, and there's support that the student needs, often those faculty and staff members will contact my office. And we have a coordinator for student care and assistance who will reach out and connect with that student. And it's to help them manage and navigate the university. We have Benny's Food Pantry that the Dean of Students office runs. We have a student emergency fund. And we just know a lot of resources around campus. And so we're another area that might reach out. And all of us work together very closely to support our students. Another question that came in, Stacy, I'll ask you to answer this. Is it too late to get enrolled in the delayed payment program while we are waiting the 30 days for the loan to be dispersed?
Not at all. Students have until the 21st of August to get all of their payment arrangements made. That date is a little bit different than normal this year because of our disbursement date changing from August 7th to August 12th. But if you typically plan to have everything paid the Friday before classes start, that's typically the deadline before late fees would be assessed.
Thank you. Another question, where and how do students meet with the academic advisors? Also to figure out what classes they need for a program they want. I'll start answering that. We have a central academic advising office in the Student Union building. It's in the museum portion of the building. And we have a number of academic advisors there. Students are assigned an academic advisor. And so they'll be getting information closer to registration about how to meet with that advisor and to work on a class plan. Stacy, is there anything that you would add to that about how to connect with an academic advisor and how students know where to go for that?
I would just say our academic advisors are super excited to talk to our students, and our offices are located in the museum building. So you're always welcome to make an appointment, and they are taking appointments on Zoom. So if you're uncomfortable meeting in person, that's the option for you. But they're ready and willing to help guide you as you make the decisions.
Thank you. And I see Brooke has posted the website to Central Academic Advising. Another question that came in is, I wasn't aware of the $100 new student orientation fee. Where would we find out about that? And I don't believe we paid it. Stacy, could you address that?
Yes, that fee, along with all other tuition and class fees, all of the fees are going to be located centrally in the student finances tab that I had demonstrated for you earlier. So there'll be a complete breakdown of all of the charges on your account in that place.
Can I add to that, Stacy, that the not beautiful, but forgive me, the part that is helpful about that centralized payment plan of the fee is that grants, tuition, scholarships, loans can be applied to those fees, including this one.
Thank you, Brooke. And Karina has posted some additional information about disability services. And so we don't have any more questions that have come in. So Karina, would you say a few words about those programs for us?
Yeah, thank you, Craig. This is backing up to the provision of services that we do provide on this campus. Disability Services has designed 2 programs. One is our occupational therapy academic coaching program. That program is designed, we have occupational therapy students under supervision of faculty who meet with anywhere from 20, 30 of our students with building soft skills, just helping them kind of keep up on track of their studies. They sit down and help them navigate what we call Moodle, some of the systems that they would use. And in addition to that, some of our students may need more one-on-one type tutoring. So we have a tutoring peer mentoring program as well.
Thank you. We have a question about what's our protocol for students who start showing COVID-19 symptoms or test positive. I believe Brooke has posted the Roaring Back website. This is a central website to go with to find out all the up-to-date information about the university's response to COVID-19 and what our plans are. And this website is updated regularly, and there's a great deal of information that you can find on that website.
Do you want to just show that really quick? I can show it really quick if you want.
Sure, go ahead if you would do that, Stacy.
Oh, I'm disabled again.
Stacy, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Let me push the right button. This is the isu.edu/roaringback website. You can see there's a space for students, campus services and clinics, well-being and prevention, research activities, faculty and staff. You can get information about our cases. If a student has symptoms, they need to fill out the self-report form as quickly as possible. They can get information about our operational levels. There's a section for frequently asked questions. There's a training video for faculty and staff that students might find interesting. And then there's a section for latest news. And then 6 reminders that we're asking everybody to adhere to help prevent the spread.
Thank you, Stacy. For a student who shows symptoms or test positive, we're asking them to stay home and call our COVID hotline. They're going to work very closely with Southeastern Idaho Public Health Department to develop an individual plan for that student and to begin any contact tracing that needs to be done. And they will work individually with students. Our faculty members know and have developed attendance policies that allow students to stay home when they're sick with no academic repercussions. Students do need to keep up on their work, but if they are sick, then they can work individually with their faculty members as well. That looks like all the questions that we have, and looks like we're coming to the end of our time today. For other questions that we didn't get to today or that you think of later, please feel free to contact New Student Orientation, and Brooke will either get your questions answered or she will get them to the best department to get them answered. And that email address is nso@isu.edu. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to our panelists. You provided some excellent information. And if there's any way that I can be helpful to your students or to you, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me at deanofstudents@isu.edu. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon.
Thank you all, and thank you, presenters.